Hi, I'm Dr. David Dobson. Welcome to Conversations. Today, my guest is Dr. Ahmed Benhoumane. Ahmed is an assistant professor at Ascencia Business School. He obtained his PhD in management sciences from University of Bretagne Occidentale. Today, we will discuss his research on the impact of corporate philanthropy on customer loyalty. It's a great pleasure to have you with me today, Ahmed.
My honor. It's a huge honor for me to exchange with you, dear doctor, and my pleasure.
To start with, Ahmed, can you explain what is corporate philanthropy?
Okay, see, the CSR universe, the talking about social responsibility of businesses, we neglect a part of the CSR, which is corporate philanthropy. It's not giving money to charity. Corporate philanthropy, our mind goes to CSR in all its universe. So it's a part of the CSR. And corporate philanthropy, if you want to see it as a picture, is when companies try to play Santa Claus. They give money to charities, they give money to students, they give money to developing countries to help them doing something.
Okay.
And in its definition, corporate philanthropy, we find the notion of giving for giving. It's not we give to enhance our brand or enhance our image. This is what we think about corporate philanthropy, and we conceptualize it as this. So it's giving for giving.
Okay. Maybe you can explain what is customer loyalty.
So customer loyalty, and when I like give an example. It's like when you go buy an Apple product and you come back, so you are loyal to the brand. If you want anything, any accessory to put in your phone, you will go back to Apple. So you are a loyal customer.
Okay.
And we try to link corporate philanthropy with loyalty because what best measures the company's performances other than the loyalty of its customers. So in our research, we try to see what the perceptions of the philanthropic endeavors of companies, how they impact the loyalty of their customers.
And I guess
I think we will dive deep into this along with the conversation.
Okay. So let me ask you this question then. What drove your research interest to this topic?
Okay, very easy. I worked my very long researcher career, 3 or 4 years in researching about what make people give money to charities. And I specialized in social media. So I tried to understand what content to put in my social media to convince people to give money to charities. And when I met with my 2 colleagues from Canada, Elizabeth Robineau and Leo Tribic, they asked me what do you think about the companies? So we've taken a deep look into the literature, and we found a lot of the work has been done on explaining what companies give and which companies give to charities. But the missing part of the puzzle is what do people think about those companies?
Right.
And how that perception impact the performance, the financial performance, or the brand image of those companies. So this was like a pass-through from my dissertation. I went from studying why people give to what people think about the companies that give to society.
Okay, that's an interesting point, because companies perhaps giving, but not necessarily they see the impact of the giving on their customers.
And especially it's the other way around. Actually, when I said companies play Santa Claus, it's like a euphemism, because in the majority of the cases, when you ask people, what do you think about my giving to poor people in Bangladesh, they will say, oh, they are trying to rebrand their name or to make greenwashing or anything like that. So it was very interesting for us to see when does this perception is positive?
Right. Yeah.
Which companies benefit from a positive perception of their given behavior?
Right. Okay.
So this is what drove our research, and this is the motivation toward to understand these perception of people of what companies give.
Okay, very interesting. So, Ahmed, how did you go about studying corporate philanthropy and its impact on loyalty?
So right now we are at the first stage of our study. We've
Okay.
only done one big study.
Oh, nice.
So we asked 400 people online about 15 companies.
Okay.
So we've put 15 companies, 15 Canadian companies
Oh, nice.
in front of 400 people, and we asked them to tell us which company do you know.
Okay.
Once they selected, some respondents selected 10 companies, other 12, other 4, other 5.
Okay.
They've established a score of their philanthropic perception.
Okay.
So we've asked them a series of questions, items to see what they think about the corporate endeavors of philanthropic endeavors of these companies, of these 15 companies.
Okay.
And at the end, we asked them also about their loyalty using the NPS score. I don't know if you are familiar with this one. So
Net Promoter Score?
Yeah, the Net Promoter Score.
Okay.
And then we used all the data that we collect to study the links using the hypothesis, the classical way of research.
Okay.
And the other step for this research is to make it international and to add an international variable, the cultural variable.
Okay.
So we are replicating this study in France, and maybe at some time, at some moment, we will see if we gonna study the US, or if it's similar culturally to the Canada, or going through Latin America or Asia.
Oh, nice.
And at the end, we will compare the result to see how people from different cultures perceive the corporate philanthropy of many companies.
Oh, nice. So company in Canada you selected, those 15 companies, were they all like private companies?
So all of them are private companies.
Okay.
Coming from the banking world, coming from the mining world, coming from the energy world, and all of the companies that we've studied are private, to answer your question.
Okay.
And all of them have a minimal giving to the society. And when I'm speaking about giving, I'm not talking about programs they engage in. It's really giving grants for students, matching gifts, for examples, building schools, doing stuff like that.
Oh, nice.
Without their brand being as a sponsor of this event.
Okay. Okay, nice.
A sample of 400 Canadians.
Okay.
So it's representative of the Canadian population.
So what did you learn from this, from your study done in Canada?
Well, the fun part is the companies that give less are perceived as the one that gives the most by people.
Okay, interesting. Okay.
So yeah, it was really astonishing for us. And I don't remember the name because I'm not very familiar with Canadian companies.
Okay.
But the first one that scored high on the perception of corporate philanthropy is a mining group. So this was very interesting for us to understand, to discuss, because we found that the companies that give the most, and when I'm talking about giving the most, it's not like they give more than others. It's relative to their revenue.
Okay.
So the companies that give the most, maybe they are the less that communicate about their corporate endeavors or philanthropic endeavors. And the ones that give more or less, it's relatively less than others, they benefit from a positive image.
Okay.
And it was interesting for us. Now we are at the stage of understanding what make people think positively of those companies. Is it the communication, or is it the core of the brand itself?
Oh, I see.
You see? So we've tried to understand this. Right now we are doing some research to try to understand in the literature, to see what people think of big brands.
Right.
Is it because they are familiar with this brand that they will give it a high score in philanthropy neighbors,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
is it something else?
Yeah. Because I'm thinking that if bigger the brand, maybe customer might have more expectation. Like if there's like small company, then expectation will be different. So some of the company are also contributing for the environment, for the
Ah,
climate change.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah. We've measured this
Mm.
actually in our scale,
Yeah.
which was developed by my colleague.
Yeah.
There are four facets. There are the environment, the society, and
Okay.
other facets. So
Okay.
we tried to see that. But right now, I cannot say for
Okay.
100% of certainty that the
Okay.
expectations may affect the perception. It
Okay.
could.
Okay.
I know that in the literature, it's the case.
Okay.
Expectations affect our perception.
Yeah.
So maybe, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So what's the next step for your research? Like, so okay, you have done your first steps. You're working some literature review. What's next for you on this big project?
Going international.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
as I said
Yeah.
earlier,
Yeah.
we will try to replicate the study in
Okay.
other countries using companies
Okay.
from other countries,
Okay.
knowing that in France,
Yeah.
the corporate philanthropy sector
Yeah.
is not that huge as in Canada. In
Yeah.
Canada, it's $3 billion. In France, it's $200 million.
Oh, right.
So it's
Okay.
not the same. But
Okay.
we will try to replicate to see the data coming from the companies, to identify the companies that we will study.
Okay.
And after going international, we will
Yeah.
see what other variables we could add to the model to give it more credibility so
Okay.
that we could see the impact of the
Yeah.
perception of corporate philanthropy
Yeah.
on other marketing key measures,
Okay.
not
So,
only loyalty, but brand love, for example.
okay. Okay. Very nice. So, in your PhD research, did you also study this topic or something related to
Oh.
this topic? Can you share some of those your PhD research?
So in my PhD research,
Yeah.
it was similar in a way, but
Okay.
very different from it. So
Okay.
I studied what makes people give on social media because I
Oh, I
started by
see.
noticing a problem.
Okay.
The problem was that people are being slacktivist on social media. They
Okay.
will see a charity asking for donations, they will put a like or share the post,
Okay.
and that's
Okay.
it. They've done their parts.
Right.
So I try to understand what message should the charities use
Okay.
to enhance giving among people.
Okay.
So it was, as I said, the core of the research is a bit similar because I'm studying the perception of people of giving,
Right. Yeah.
but the researchers are the
Yeah.
research, the
Yeah.
work done on the research is very different. I've
Yeah.
worked with experimentations. I've tested messages using emotions, using
Oh, I
rational
see.
messages to see how they impact the given
Okay.
behavior of the individuals.
Okay. So you test the framing of the messages and see which
Yeah,
is more
yeah.
persuasive. Okay. Do you have any advice for future research on this topic?
On this topic, yeah,
Or yeah, sure.
an advice that I would like, that I've received at the moment that I started my research in any
Yeah.
topic,
Yeah.
it's to be passionate about what you research,
Yeah.
because you will get bored at a moment, and you need that passion to push you forward.
Yes. That's true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. You need motivation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you need motivation and you
Yeah.
need discipline, because
Yeah.
discipline is the most used thing in the research. So
Yeah.
each day I will do
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
As for corporate philanthropy,
Yeah.
I wish that
Yeah.
colleagues
Yeah.
could be more interested in this topic, because
Yeah.
it's something that will enhance our society as a whole.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
we understand that corporate philanthropy has a positive impact on
Yeah.
financial performance,
Yeah. Yeah.
companies will say, why not? Let's do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
this is my advice, is to look into ways of linking
Yeah.
corporate philanthropy, the perception of corporate philanthropy,
Yeah.
with other KPIs from the marketing sector
Right. Yeah.
in order to convince companies to give more.
I'm going to ask you not related question, but see
Yeah.
your perspective. When I'm talking to some of my colleague and even hearing from other people, they're saying that these days people not reading enough. Like there's a break. Everybody looking for a shortcut, and of course with the artificial intelligence, people try to shortcut even more. So
Yeah.
so what is your take, like the impact of these shortcuts on the quality of research? Like,
Oh, it's a very tricky subject.
yeah,
And me as a professor, I advise my students to use artificial intelligence in
okay,
order to not be used by it.
okay,
But, and this is it. So if a researcher
yeah,
does not do the work,
yeah,
does half of the work,
yeah,
at some moment of time, I will
yeah,
not need that researcher. I will
yeah,
use the artificial intelligence. So
yeah,
we should continue doing the work. We should
yeah,
continue doing the task,
yeah,
but we could use artificial intelligence as a tool,
yeah,
such as any other tool
mhm,
to help us. I use it as an assistant. For example, for
yeah,
this research on
yeah,
corporate philanthropy,
yeah,
I use ChatGPT to help me clean the data.
okay,
In the pre-study, I've done the cleaning of, let's say, 40 answer or 80 answer, if I remember well, in 2 weeks.
okay,
So
yeah,
I've had 400 answers.
hmm,
I mean, I will need at least 1 month, but ChatGPT done it in 15 minutes.
okay, that's good.
Yeah.
Save time.
So it, it's, it's really helped me a lot
Yeah,
and gave me the time to read more, to
yeah,
understand the subject more.
okay,
So
okay,
it's not as smart as they say that need our guidance.
okay,
And if I ask it to summarize a paper for me, I
yeah,
don't see what's my value to the research.
yeah, yeah, yeah. What drove your interest to the academia?
Oh, it's a child dream. When I've had 5 years, 6 years, I
Yeah.
remember myself teaching
Oh, nice.
thin air. I was
Okay.
like teaching ghosts.
Okay.
And so it comes from that. And also when I was at the university, I always tried to help my friend, and I
Okay.
find it amusing to give back, to learn something and to give it in a way. So I always try to engage with students, being
Nice.
funny between parentheses,
Yeah.
doing the work and giving them the fruit of that work.
Okay.
So I love teaching. I don't know if you see it or not.
Yeah. Yeah. No, absolutely. You're passionate about it. Thank you so much for your
My
time,
pleasure.
Ahmed.
Huge pleasure, David, to exchange with you.